need flies.
Police.
That was not a trash reference.
All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome to the City of Salem Solid Waste Committee for Thursday, August 21st. I'm Chair, Councilor Linda Nishioka, Ward 2.
And I'm Mickey Varney, Counselor for Ward 8.
Deanna Gwen, Counselor Ward 4, and I will update my name.
And Councilor Brown, Ward 5 is unable to attend, but we do have a quorum. We have staff present. Would they like to introduce themselves?
You would. My name is Ryan Zink. I'm the franchise administrator for the City of Salem.
Josh Eggleston, Chief Financial Officer.
And Shana Thomas, Admin Analyst.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion? May I hear a motion for approval of the minutes from July 17th, 2025?
I move approval of the minutes.
And I'll second that.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. The approval is passed. We're now to public comment, and we have Jim Shepke with us. So I will call him forward.
This.
You can come sit right here. You can come sit right next to me, Jim.
Don't
Of
start
course
the,
you do.
don't start the 3 minutes.
Someone will need to do that timer. All right.
Okay.
And Deanna, we'll make sure that you get a copy of these at Ryan's convenience.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pictures and sunlight to her.
I'll scan it.
Okay. It sounds like Josh will scan them and send them to you, so you will have them.
Yes, I would very much like her to have my hand out.
Yes, so she's gonna get it.
Good.
But are you starting the timer?
Shannon has it.
All right, ready to go.
Go. Jim Shapke, I represent 350 Salem. But I want to remind you that we're part of a coalition that includes the Valley Neighbors for Environmental Quality and Safety called VNEX, which is down in Corvallis. We're also we have Beyond Toxics in our coalition. We meet monthly, and every time I speak to you, I'm really speaking on behalf of all three of those organizations. And today, I just want to share that you may have heard that the Benton County Planning Commission unanimously rejected an expansion of the Coffin Butte landfill a week or two ago. And that would have been the end of it, but Republic Services has appealed that decision to the Benton County Board of Commissioners. And so, and they asked for a 60-day extension, so that's not going to happen until the end of November. We really believe that we can't believe that the Benton County Commissioners, frankly, would overturn a unanimous decision of their planning commission. And we know those commissioners, some people know them quite well. So we're thinking that that appeal will not be successful, but that remains to be seen. But one thing that I really wanted to share with you today was this testimony that the Benton County Commissioners and the Planning Commission received from Waste Management as part of their process. And we find this to be a very exciting idea that Waste Management is proposing something you all have talked about, which is to move our solid waste by rail to their landfill, the Columbia Ridge landfill near Arlington in Eastern Oregon. And you can read about it, and I hope you will. We're very excited about this. We think this would just be terrific. And it's really interesting to read this about the Columbia Ridge landfill because they do a great job in containing the methane emissions from their landfill. They also have no leachate that goes into waterways because they treat it. first of all, it's very it's very small because they're in Eastern Oregon and it doesn't rain. So their leachate is much less than it would be if it were in Western Oregon. So they have much less, and they're able to treat it right there. What they do with it, I think, is they just put it back on top of the landfill, and so it just is like a continuous problem. So they don't have the leachate situation that we have. Anyway, just to say, my 3 minutes up, just to say.
Was that the timer?
That was the timer, okay. Just to say, we're very excited about this and we wanted you to know about it.
Thank you. That was a nice way to end the timer. Thank you.
I
Thank
see the
you,
Zoom function. I guess it works.
Jim. Thank you, Jim,
Are-
for your testimony.
I had a question.
Oh, Jim,
Yeah,
come sit
okay.
down.
Too.
Come
Yeah,
sit
go
down.
ahead.
We got questions.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Counselor Gwynn, go right ahead.
Well, no, Mickey was first, so.
My question is, wow, yeah, I mean, having not had a chance to absorb all this yet, where else are they receiving waste
At
from?
Columbia Ridge,
Uh-huh.
that is a huge landfill. It's the biggest in the state.
Where
by
else
far.
from the west?
They get all of Metro's garbage, I think.
You think?
And they, I'm pretty sure, and they get Washington State, they might get solid waste from Seattle. So they're huge. They're 10 miles from Arlington. We talk about Arlington,
Sure, and
but it's not like Cobb Butte and Corvallis. They're out in the middle of nowhere, basically, and it's a great location.
I know where Arlington is. I know
Okay.
it's dry, but all the waste will be wet before it gets there.
And it goes in the landfill.
And so, but you said they don't have.
But what
problems with
causes
leachate.
more leachate at Coffin Butte, is my understanding, is that there's so much rain. It rains on the landfill, it percolates down, and it comes out the bottom, and that's leachate. And it doesn't rain, hardly at all. It doesn't create the amount of leachate, and it's so small that they don't have to truck it to a municipal waste facility like Coffin Butte has to do. They just take it. My understanding is it comes out the bottom and they have a way of just dumping it back on top, and it does this.
Okay.
They also, by the way, use drones to monitor their methane emissions already. See, we had to pass a bill to get Coffin Butte to do that, but they're already doing it. There's a nice picture of a drone.
Okay, well, I look forward, thank you for bringing this
Yeah.
in. I look forward to reading through it. I think one of my concerns is, I mean, I've been to Arlington. And I'm trying to think what tributary is there. My concern is, I don't know how far they are away from waterways, from the Columbia, tributaries to the Columbia.
far
I
away.
need to look at the,
I mean, Arlington's right on the Columbia.
right.
I understand, I've never been to Columbia Ridge. I'd like
Okay.
to go sometime.
Okay,
But I think it's 10 miles south or less of Arlington.
okay, because
10
that's
miles.
a
far away.
concern about taking more and more stuff there as contaminants into our waterways,
They say I
groundwater.
think they say they have 140 years of capacity. Just because they're in the middle of the desert on a huge amount of land. So,
Well, I look forward to investigating this a little
Good.
more,
Good.
okay, and how safe it is, yeah,
good.
okay.
Well, I hope your committee that you're gonna have with the county will take a close look at this.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was just curious who this Waste Management, who is this company?
My understanding is there's 3 giant national waste management companies in the United States. One of them is Republic Services, one of them is Waste Management, and there's one other waste something that I can't remember. So they're a big national company.
Okay, thank you.
These guys probably know.
Who's the third one?
Waste
Waste
Connection.
Connections is the third one.
Waste Connection. Good.
So it's 3, the Waste Connections, Republic, and what was the first one?
And Waste Management.
Waste Management. All right. Great, thank you. Any other questions? Oh, did we lose Deanna?
No, I'm still here.
Okay,
No other questions.
Free
Thank
to go
you.
right
I
ahead.
need to look at a map, I guess. Which county is?
Gillum.
Gillum.
Which most people mispronounce because it's spelled Gilliam,
Mhm.
but you pronounce it Gillum.
So that must be in the northeast corner,
No, it's
north central corner.
it's to the east of the Dalles.
Yes.
Okay, so north
Yes.
central.
I think it's the next county over from Wasco.
Okay. Okay, no, that was.
Well, thank you for this. I think
Okay.
that it sounds like Ryan knows the companies that manage this. I personally will want to do some research. I think that, you know, we have to analyze cost of rail, cost of trucking. We have to, you know, look at all kinds of factors, and the waste, the materials management committee, I believe we'll be working on all of this.
Good.
So it will take some time,
For sure.
but I think that there's a lot of opportunities that we need to review.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming.
You bet.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
We have other people here that have not signed up. And Natin, would you like to introduce yourself? You weren't here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, still getting used to coming to this location.
Sure, I understand.
Nitin Joshi, Environmental Operations Technology.
Great, thank you. We have two other guests. Are you here just to listen, or would you like to say anything?
Just listens, fantastic.
Just
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much for coming. And Brian, before you leave, maybe I think, do we keep these as records?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we'll just make sure that you're on the list. All right, thank you again, everyone, for those good questions and presentations and introductions. Looks like we have no action items. So that means that we are now to Mr. Zink to inform us. You're
Yes.
here to inform us.
Lots of information. Thank you, Chair. So we have a lot of things on here, but I'm gonna kind of breeze through a couple of these, and then we're gonna go right into kind of the meat of it today. First of all, upcoming events. We like to share not only what's going on here in Salem, but also our solid waste partners, and one of them being City of Kaiser. So they're continuing their, what they call Trashy Tuesdays litter cleanup. They have an event once a month. I think we've already done 2 of them. They've got a couple more, but anyway, if you go to the link there at kaiser.org/Trashy Tuesday, you can.
Cute name.
It is a cute name. But so they, you know, they focus a lot on, of course, keeping waste out of the streams and all that, but this is a great event. I'd like to highlight that. I also wanted to just touch briefly, you mentioned earlier, the Marion County Materials Management Advisory Council. Myself
I
and,
forget that advisory part.
yeah,
I say,
we get to advise.
we do.
So myself and Chair Nishioka attended the first official Materials Management Advisory Council. Was that last week or? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah.
It does seem
like
a long time ago, doesn't it?
So, yeah, so it was a nice kickoff meeting. Brian May from the county and myself did a brief presentation, a little bit of a kind of a solid waste 101, and also some kind of current information about the Recycling Modernization Act, and helping to get that group of folks who represent cities and other organizations throughout Marion County on that advisory council. And so helping them get up to speed on not only solid waste, but also what's happening with in Oregon with the Recycling Modernization Act. Excuse me. Speaking of RMA, moving on to the next funding, we have the approved and signed, if you will, primary funding agreement with Circular Action Alliance, which is the PRO group. So we received that agreement back from them. The next step is for us to work with them on there'll be an addendum to that agreement for the funding that will be flowing through the city, which is the contamination reduction program. What we're waiting on though is DEQ to finalize some of the allowable programs. So they came out with an initial list of, hey, these are the things, this is kind of we being the DEQ, what they are hoping to see with that contamination reduction and what falls under those allowable programs. There's some additions that are being made to that based on feedback from communities. And so we're waiting for that new revised programming list to come out. And then we'll be working with them and our partners to come up with that plan. And that will be a topic at the
Next meeting.
Materials Management Advisory Council with the county.
May I ask a question?
Please.
The list that we got, the flyer you gave, is that then changing?
Sorry, so that is not changing.
Okay, okay,
So this is specific to contamination
Got it.
reduction.
okay.
And so what elements, what programs, what things are we doing to try to make sure that only the things that are on that list go into the recycle bin and not contaminants?
Would you do me a favor? Would you send out that list to the other members of this committee?
Yes, I will.
Because I think you will be very pleased with items on that list. I'm already starting with a little hesitation, but I'm trying to choose the things that seem like they're okay. Because we're not flipping a switch, as Ryan has said, we're dialing it up. So there are a lot of things that are now accepted that weren't for a while. So it'll be exciting to see that list.
Yes, I think I looked at it last time.
Good.
We've had it here once or twice. And we'll
okay.
make sure that gets out again.
I just think it'd be, are you okay, Deanna? Do you have that list or would you like to see it again?
Sorry, I would love to see it again if possible.
Yep, we'll do that.
Sometimes it's a good idea to see it numerous times.
Yes.
It really embeds in the brain.
Well, in fact, the very next thing here, which is a brief or a
Oh, wonderful.
shortened version of that list.
I'm not trying to rush you. I get
Oh,
what you
no. Is that education outreach element. So during this initial kickoff, Circular Action Alliance is paying for printing of many of those items. So I just brought an example. In fact, there is a QR code on here that you can scan with your phone and get a direct link to that list. So something similar to this will be going out in those that get paper bills. There's English on one side, Spanish on the other side.
Perfect.
Very quick, kind of short, hey, this is what to do. And then what not to put in. So you see the bottom there. And then Councillor Gwynn, I'll send out a digital copy of this afterwards.
Okay.
So this is going to be going out in the bills, the haulers bills, over the next couple of months. And those that have paperless billing will receive it with their paperless bill
Okay,
via email.
but it'll be on the website.
Yeah, so the website that we had up before with that Recycle On /Oregon, that information is out there. And I need to, one of the things that I'm working on is getting more of that information on our own city's website
Oh,
and then
wonderful.
doing kind of rollout internally with city and city departments.
Thank
So that will
you.
be coming.
That'll be great.
We'll also, over the next couple months, that same list of materials will be accepted at the depots around the city, which are typically at our haulers office locations. And so new signage will be going up there. And so just again, part of that, turn on the dial,
Mhm.
a little more information going out to just help continue letting people know that there is a change and then helping to make sure that we have that consistent communication going out statewide.
May I ask, Brian, will there be anybody at the state fair promoting this information?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, then.
I don't know if CAA is doing anything. They may be. I have not heard.
Okay, so it becomes more their responsibility than Marion County's.
Yep, at this point in time.
All right. Well, I got an honest answer. Thank you.
Next is the kind of the big meaty part of the day, of this, not the day, just of this.
Of this meeting.
Of this meeting. And kind of talking about, so last month, we discussed that initial proposed, proposal for, solid waste rate increases. I'm gonna share my screen and kind of go through that, and the slides that are attached to your packet are what I will be going through here shortly. I can remember how, there's the share button.
Copy of this and take it to my.
That's a really good idea. Think about it.
Yep. Make some copies.
So again, we're looking at rates that would be effective January 1st of 2026 and January 1st of 2027. Unless there's some delay or anything like that, that's the targeted dates. And again, this is kind of going back to what we saw last month. This was the initial ask. In Marion County, fairly light increases for that 2026, a little bit more in 2027. Not a lot of big changes here. Disposal costs are pretty stable, just mostly just small increases due to inflation with labor and that type of fuel and that type of thing. Salem Polk side, we see some significantly larger asks initially. Most of this is around the increased disposal fees within Coffin Butte. However, there are some changes, and this again, the last month we talked about what some adjustments that had already been made. So glass recycling, that's one element of the RMA, which started July 1st. What that means basically for every pound, or excuse me, not every pound, every ton of glass that the haulers collect, they're actually being paid $77 per ton for that, instead of having that cost directly. So they're being reimbursed for that. The impact of that was about $100,000 or $115,000 a year. So that is continuing to be included. And then there's 5 areas there that I put under review. So I just want to go through each of those 5 areas next to kind of see where we're at. And a few of those that are still in the works, haven't finalized everything, but I wanted to kind of walk through those. The first and probably the biggest impact to the rate is the commingled recycling disposal fee. As we talked last month, the initial understanding is that there would be a zero cost of disposal. We weren't entirely sure of how that was going to work, particularly with about half of that disposal going through the haulers facility in Brooks called Resource, where much of that material was being reloaded and taken up to Portland. One big change that happened since the last time we talked is that the Garden Recycling Facility here in Salem was purchased by Republic Services and is now called the Republic Services Salem Recycling Center. And that became effective August 1st of 2025. With that change, currently all material, all commingled recycling material, so everything that goes in the blue bin for residential is going to that facility.
Okay.
What that means for the rates is that we've taken that whole element of disposal out of the cost for that, not line of business, but for that element of the COSA. So There is, we're going out and picking it up and all that, but as far as there's zero cost in our model now
We manage.
for the disposal of commingled recycling. The impact of that you see down below. So on the bottom there, Marion, Salem on the left, Polk, Salem on the right, kind of the before and after. This is without applying a rate increase. So this is assuming that there was no rate increase over the next 2 years. But you see that there's a fairly significant, so for 2025, even though there's only 6 months of it, it adjusts or increases the projected margin for this year from 12.1 to 13.7%. 2026 from 9.9 to 13.1. And so similarly for Salem Polk. In fact, for 2027, moved it from a negative projected margin to positive. So fairly significant change there.
And what is making the changes, causing the changes?
So previously, the cost of disposal for commingled materials, commingled recycled material was over $100 a ton.
Okay.
That is now zero.
Okay.
The material is going to the processing center. Circular Action Alliance, the PRO, is now paying the processing facility to collect and or to receive and process that material, rather than the haulers paying a disposal fee to that processing facility.
Sure.
So it
Okay.
took a big chunk of the expense off of our haulers.
Thank you.
But the haulers will still be taking it there. So it's
Yes.
the transportation, pickup and transportation is
Yeah.
still within the fees that the haulers are doing.
Yep, so we've essentially removed that cost from the model that figures out what their margin should be, that cost of disposal for recycling.
Okay.
One of the unknowns that I'm still working through, but I don't think is going to be a significant impact, is this is still one facility, and they are, Republic Services has purchased it. They're planning on doing upgrades. There's going to be maintenance. There's going to be at some point downtime. And so my ask to them is, what is your plan B?
Yeah.
So if it
yeah.
doesn't go there, where is it going to go? Are you going to stockpile it? How does that impact their DEQ permit for material that they can have on site?
Mhm.
What is their alternate plan when they're not able to accept that material? So
Good question.
if they're full, if there's a fire, or if there's some issue, what is the alternate plan? And then do we need to figure that into our rate structure, or do we need to just let them figure that out? They may say, there's nothing that requires them to accept that material from our haulers.
Mm.
So they could say, we're full, we can't take it anymore, go somewhere else. But if we don't have that infrastructure, that plan in place to take it somewhere else, well, now there are options, but some of that's dependent on having agreements in place to say that, yes, this is, and we need to have that plan in place for where it's going to go if the new Republic Services Salem Recycling Center isn't able to take it for a short period of time.
Will some of this be discussed at the advisory committee, materials management advisory, because others are probably also using it?
So I don't set the agenda, but I imagine that might be a topic of discussion.
You get to speak after all.
Yes, part of it is when we look at Marion County Code, commingled recycling isn't in our code. It's something we have really direct oversight, but we will definitely be discussing this.
All right, thank you. That was Mr. Brian May from Marion County. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So some big changes here locally when it comes to the processing recycling.
Well, yeah, because we
Lots of
don't have
absorb-
anybody else doing it, right? Locally then.
So the closest, so the next option, and what has been done. Like I said before, about 50%-ish of the material has been going to Garden. The other 50% has been taken to Resource, where it's been reloaded and then taken up to one of a couple different processing facilities in Portland. With RMA, that changes things a little bit in terms of, there's the reimbursement of, or the payment of processing costs. But then there's also a transportation element where CA will pay for the transportation if it's over 50 miles. Now, Resource and Brooks is just under 50 miles from any of the three places that they would take it to in Portland. So with that, there would still be a transportation cost element for our haulers to get it to Portland, unless, for instance, let's say DNO wants to take their truck, they picked it up to their curb and take it all the way up to Portland and all the way back, which I don't think we want to do. It's better to have it reloaded, right? But then it gets us outside of that or under that 50-mile. So if they're trucking it from South Salem to Portland, it's greater than 50 miles and they get reimbursed. But if they truck it from Brooks, where it's better to have it reloaded, then we don't get reimbursed for it. So there's some interesting dynamics with RMA and all that.
I'm thinking about temporary storage areas for when that happens. I don't know, just thinking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, thinking about it.
And that's going to come under, DEQ permits. And basically that's kind of a problem. As I understand, that's a problem for Garden to figure out if they can't take it. Well, anyway, so there's some interesting elements there. I don't think it's anything that this committee needs to solve, but I want you to be aware of it.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you hear something, I want you to be aware.
Okay.
The next on the list is adjustments to rate requests. So the Dropbox delivery fee versus a service fee. Real short here, as haulers were initially looking at some of the information that was being pulled in, their consultant was looking at the information and starting to consolidate all the financials from the haulers. One thing that became aware of is that the delivery fee for a Dropbox. So the Dropbox is a temporary box, like a dumpster that goes out to a construction site. It can be more long term, where the box is there, but then it's just emptied from time to time, or it could be shorter term. Because of the mix of short term versus long term, it was found out that really there's aside from that, element there, you have, there's a delivery fee of, getting the box out to the site. And then there's a service fee of the monthly rental and disposal and that type of thing, if you will. There's an imbalance between the cost of actually delivering the box out versus the ongoing service fee for that box. Currently, that delivery rate is $47.65 for both Marion and Polk County. The cost of the delivery on average is really closer to $75.
Does the delivery include pickup? Is it just a one-time charge of delivery, and then that is included when pickup happens?
I believe, yeah, it's just a one-time delivery, and then the service fee includes the getting the box back, if you will. Yeah, so it's not charged both directions.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
The 47 was probably more sort of figured as a delivery, but then maybe they didn't charge it again when it's picked up. 75, yes, okay.
So what this was doing is inadvertently putting more of the cost, the balance between, we're trying to apply rates to where the cost is as much as we can.
Sure.
And so the service fee was subsidizing the delivery fee.
Got it.
This will, and which is what caused some of our double-digit increases in the Dropbox line of business that we saw earlier. So this has a positive impact there. Let's see, reduces line of business. So it reduces that rate increase need for that service fee by a little over 1%. There's some other things that impact that, but has at least a 1% change in reducing that need for an increase. If that makes sense.
I understand that. I understand the gist of it. Yes. Okay.
There's some other things around drop boxes that I am working through. I'm not going to go into the detail right now, but probably something I'll bring back the next time we meet. That I'm still working on refining some of the understanding and what the need might be there. I'm hoping that might also bring down the need for an increase in that area, particularly on the West Salem side. So to be continued on that conversation.
Okay.
So give you a heads up that it might not be the end of that conversation. Next, let's see here. Updates to our inflation factors. The general inflation and fuel, I'll be pulling those numbers at the end of August to get, and then we'll just draw a line in the sand then. So I don't have any updates for that at this point. So the top two there, but next time we meet, you'll see an adjustment to those based on where things sit at the end of August for that. Labor, on the other hand, so this 2025 is the final year of the contract for the collective bargaining agreement for Republic Services. In general, we base the labor increases on that CBA. Let's see, currently is 4.4%. Actually, though, so the estimate for 2025 is 4.4. The contract in the third year is actually 3.76. And so I am recommending that we continue that into 2026. And as we're looking out at kind of the labor market right now, I'm hesitant to increase it much more. I do know that CDL drivers are a little harder to retain and to hire. So that last year, the 2027, I'd like to talk with some folks a little bit more, but looking at maintaining that probably around that 3.5 to 3.7% for the last year. But that's a reduction down from the 4.5% that we're proposing last month. And finally, on benefits, last time we met, that was around 5% was the initial proposal. The medical benefits rate through ORA were released on August 1st at 4.4%. And so that's what we're projecting for the next 2 years.
Okay.
No changes here on the disposal. This is just another
Makes me nervous.
Because it might be end up higher. Is that why?
Yeah. Anyway, that's because what happens if it is, I guess if it's a lot more than that, then we just do another rate adjustment, right? Yes, okay. Excuse
But
me.
it's good to be at the ready.
Yes.
So no changes in other disposal, but I just wanted to bring this up here as a reminder of kind of where things sit. On Marion County side, at this time, we're not anticipating an increase to the cost of municipal solid waste disposal in Marion County. The caveat to that, I think Jim's testimony here in terms of some options there for rail, the whole issue around Coffin Butte, as we're also looking on Marion County side with how do we manage waste and do, as we are now taking waste up the gorge for that. Some of it's going to Coffin Butte, some of it's going up the gorge. As things are changing around that area, and as there's some financial all I will say is I know Marion County is looking at that. I'm sure we'll hear more of it through the Materials Management Advisory Council. And so at this time though, in the model, we are not showing an increase for disposal in Marion County. What we do know though, and what is impacting the rates on the Polk County side the most is that Coffin Butte is, so right now in 2025, we're at $53 a ton. And they've communicated that they intend to increase that to $63 next year and then up to $73 following year. Actually, it's 60 and 70, but there's essentially a $3 per ton environmental fee that's added on top of the disposal fee. So it's effectively a $63 and $73 disposal fee per ton, which is what's giving us that 20 and 19 and almost 16% increase in those 3 years.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So where the Marion County Materials Management is, we have our own.
Mhm.
Is Polk County doing anything? Do we know? Or, because that's going to impact how we set rates for Polk County. And I'm just wondering if there's any attention being paid by Polk County to where they might be taking their trash, if it would follow us. So I see heads nodding, so I'm just wondering if we have any idea, because it will impact how we set rates.
Yes. No, absolutely. And that brings in an item later.
Later, okay,
is,
so I'll wait. I'm sorry, I asked.
Oh, no, it's perfect. It's a perfect segue into some of that. We talk about rehab, which would be
Yeah.
a transfer station in Polk County. Now there's a cost associated with that facility,
Yeah.
but that should hopefully be offsetting future increases and the continued high increases we're seeing each year from Coffin Butte. Because the idea with rehab then is that we're not taking it, it's a transfer station where we're able to get it on a truck, get it on rail, or what other options there are to take it, maybe consolidate it with some of the stuff that's coming from Marion County. This may go on rail and going up the gorge. So looking at it from a regional perspective that way, and that rehab in Polk County resource or new facility for the county at some point, or there's a, I don't know, where is it here?
Good thing you brought this,
Yeah, there's a intermodal center. I think that's the one. Anyway, down towards Albany. Anyway, but there's a number of different facilities and there's some options. But there's a lot of things that are still unknown. And in the meantime, we still have these cost increases that are coming from our current disposal sites.
Thank you.
So yes, those are
All things up in the air.
all things that are being looked at and being discussed. And I'm hoping that we have more information soon, and it'll be great topics, and hopefully we'll be learning more at the MEC.
Yeah, is that how we're gonna say it?
With the county. As far as, I don't know that Polk County has a advisory council in the same way, but I believe there is conversation going on with multiple counties and stakeholders within those counties to be looking at things from a regional perspective.
Okay,
How will we find out more about that?
I will bring information to you as I can. We may be getting information in the Materials Management Advisory Council that we'll bring forward here. And if there's something more immediate that this committee needs to weigh in on, I'll definitely send that information out.
Okay, because obviously I'm really curious about the impacts to West Salem,
Yes,
and then thinking about that whole region
Yeah.
and they're all gonna have to
This is
have
gonna be
different
pretty-
agreements.
gonna be
Anyway.
critical for us.
and I'm going to go ahead and just,
If we even yeah, go
Yeah, I'm gonna
ahead.
I'm just go ahead and cover this last topic on here.
Okay,
So.
Ryan he raised his hand.
Oh, sorry. So real quick, update on Rehab.
Okay.
They did have a land use planning meeting or hearing here a couple of weeks ago. And there was, I think, 12 individuals that stepped forward against it,
Oh,
which
okay.
for a solid waste facility, that's probably not a bad number. But they're moving that process forward.
So they are moving it forward. Okay. That's good to know.
And our city attorney received a draft IGA from Polk County that I am now working on reviewing.
Okay.
Been looking at that last week, but reviewed it again a little bit more this morning. That would be the flow control agreement between the city of Salem and Polk County for that material. So I'm looking.
That'll make a big difference in helping you
Yes.
figure out how to move forward with the rates.
Yep, and so that'll be something that as we're working through this, that agreement at some point in whatever form will be coming to, actually, I'll bring it to this committee first, and then we'll take that to city council for review and discussion. And how does that fit into, the city's needs? How does that fit into Polk County or the regional discussion and from a policy or, practical perspective?
All right, thank you.
so what is the timeline that they're looking at? I mean, we're saying this is moving forward, but kind of what happens next? Where are we in the process?
Yeah, so they've been granted a franchise agreement from Polk County. But now they're going through the land use portion for the property that they want to build a facility on. So that is kind of the wild card. As far as my understanding is there is a parallel path for a solid waste permit for the transfer station at the same time. I hope they are hoping to break ground by probably late 2026, 2027. Just all goes right.
How close are they to a railroad there?
They're basically sitting on a railroad
Okay,
line.
that's what I thought, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Marion County is very much in support of that transfer station being built. We see that as ability to help West Salem drastically instead of pulling that across town to go to the Salem Kaiser transfer station. Hopefully that would be a great outlet for those Polk County residents.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if I- Yep, lots of questions coming up on that. Okay, I'm looking forward to getting more information.
Counselor Gwynn, I can't see if you have your hand up. I just will ask, do you have any questions at this point? Oh, there you are.
No, I am good.
Thank you. All right, so now you want to get to that part, and yes, we're ready.
Let's see, what do we have next year? One of the last things that's relatively small here, but kind of one category, if you will, of adjustments are things that our consultant Chris Bell, as he's doing his review, he has a unique perspective on solid waste. He's been doing this for many more years than I have and does this work for a lot of different facilities or a lot of different agencies. One thing that came up in one particular line, it's a small adjustment, but I just wanted to kind of bring it as an example of some of the things that he's looking for. There's corporate overhead for one of our haulers. The anticipation, or so the labor increase was applied to that corporate overhead, but as compared to local staff. But the expectation is that as those companies are expanding or adding to their portfolio, that the allocation of that corporate overhead would not be increasing at the same rate as, say, salaries and labor locally. And so we've zeroed out the increase there for that line item. Again, it's about 0.1% change in the margin overall at a consolidated level. But there's some other small things like contributions and that type of stuff, which the haulers had already backed out in their request. But this is, so I guess the news with this is what we're getting from the haulers in general is really pretty clean. We've worked with them obviously for years. They know that the areas of, hey, we've discussed this before. as an example, contributions, which I think is great that they support local community and they provide contributions, but that's not something that our ratepayers should pay for. So we back that out. There's 2 years ago, we talked about some salary caps. If they want to provide a salary to their management that is higher than what we would see on an average basis, that's great, that's wonderful. But again, we're going to back out anything that looks excessive because that we don't feel that the ratepayer should pay for those decisions, those business decisions that they want to do. And the haulers will already back that out. And so they're making those adjustments as we go along. So when it comes to this, there's typically not a lot of adjust, kind of like there's very few surprises. It's more of how is the industry changing?
Mhm.
How is there something legislatively like the cat tax here a few years ago?
Yeah.
How do those things apply to our rate model and how are we going to implement that? Or, what's the impact of those industry changes to the model that tend to be more of the headache?
All right.
So as we're looking at this, this is the margin. So Marion County, we'll see Polk County here in a second. So this was what we anticipated. This was a similar slide to last month. What we anticipated the margins to be before the rate increase. This is so before the adjustments that we just talked about. After the adjustments, you see that has changed a bit. So improved, I should say, fairly significantly. Some of the biggest improvements, as you see, in fact, let me go back. So 2024, 2025, both at or above that 10%. When we look at it on all lines of business, that top line, 2026 is now also over 10%. And 2027 is actually within that 8 to 12% range that we're usually shooting for. Polk County, we see something similar. That top line, 8.5, 6.9, 1.8, 2026, and it was actually negative in 2027. With the adjustments, that has significantly improved again as well. So what does all that mean for our rate increase? So again, this is just a reminder of where we were. This is the very first slide I showed you what that initial ask was. So how has that changed? Right now on Marion County side, I'm looking at no rate increases across the board for 2026. And for 2027, the only need for a rate increase would be in the Dropbox line of business at 6.6%. I wish I could say the same for Polk County side. I don't mean to pick. I hope you don't feel like I'm picking on you, Barney, Councilor Barney.
Well, it just seems like it's so abrupt.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to explain and the difference.
It's still a net lower rate on the Polk County side, correct?
Yes, both of them are lower than what was the initial ask. But
The Polk is still lower than the Marion, right?
the rates are still lower. Yes.
So you
Probably in
point that
about
out
2
to them.
years at the current trajectory, in about 2 years are probably going to be pretty close. And at that time, I may actually be looking at consolidating rates between the two sides of the river. So we just have one rate for Salem.
Oh, won't that be nicer for
That will
you?
be very nice.
It'd be so nice for you.
That would make a lot more sense.
Well, it's nicer to explain to residents too, it's one increase for everybody.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
right, I agree.
And that may be aligning, about that time rehab may be up and operational. Other changes, facilities, things that have been, infrastructure may be in place that then at that time really makes sense that we're looking at that solid waste from that Polk and Marion and other counties potentially where it is one system rather than having one structure for this side of the river and a different structure for the other side of the river. That is more a regional look, and makes sense to have more of a regional rate.
But that wouldn't be until 28, 29, beyond, like somewhere in there.
Yeah. My hope is this, yeah, my hope is this is the
It
last
feels like
time we
forever,
have
but it-
Marion and Polk on the screen and it's just Salem.
There you go.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's my hope.
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. So yeah, good news is for most of City of Salem, no rate increase for 2026. And a very small increase is just going to be those Dropbox customers in 2027. And really what has benefited us the most there is that decreased cost for the commingled recycling.
Yes.
If it weren't for that, we would be seeing, particularly for the cart, which is mostly residents, we'd be seeing a rate increase request there.
Okay, that's good.
The last thing that was on that list of things that we're working on for rating or for adjustments. Heard me talk about this a little bit. We've seen a map before, is the 95-gallon residential cart service. Now, on here, there's a map. I'm going to show you so you can take that with you, but actually, I'm going to share another map with you. Well, the same map, but the actual map, not just a picture of it. If I can pull it up here. So some interesting information on here. And so at this time, I don't have a recommendation yet. I wish I could get that whole thing on the side off, but we'll do that. But I'll tell you a little bit about what you're seeing here. So there are, let me get to it on the slide here. So I reached out to the haulers again. We got updated information. I said, give me a count of all of your residential customers that have more than one cart, more than one garbage cart in all of Salem. So this was as of July of this year. 871 customers have more than one cart. Most of those, if you look on your slide there, are 100-gallon in total capacity, 100-gallon or 130-gallon. So that 100-gallon means that they have one 65-gallon and one 35-gallon cart. The 130-gallon means they have two 65-gallon carts.
Holy cow.
So that's
I know, look at that.
right. There's a couple of them that have two 65 and a 35, and then there's two of them that have three 65-gallon carts. Now, when you go in and look at where that is, so as an example, if we go here, there's, okay, so up in the left-hand corner of the map, there's those two, each of them have 365 gallons. I think if you zoomed in on them the other day when I was looking on Google Maps, and it looks like it might be a multifamily, like a duplex.
That's what I was wondering about.
Right.
Yeah.
Similar to this one, I think is also a duplex over there in East Salem. This right here are all of those that have two 65-gallon.
Wow.
And then these are those that have a 65 and a 35. And now there were three that have two 35-gallon, which could be easily done with one 65-gallon.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but my guess is maybe a 65-gallon is a little too heavy for them.
Or duplex.
Or again, duplex where there's two 35.
Yeah.
They
Some reason to separate.
some reason, right? So my intent or hope is that we can help this group of those that, this one where they have the 65 and a 35-gallon, essentially that the 100-gallon capacity there. It seems like a direct replacement with a single 95-gallon cart. That could benefit them from a rate reduction.
It would cost them less.
Yep, cost reduction for them.
And it would be cost reduction of time for the haulers because they're not
Right.
doing two.
Right.
But that's a lot of weight to move.
So you're thinking of the individual.
Well, I'm thinking of especially in West Salem and South Salem, on the
On the
hills.
Now
Just
we need
getting
to
mine
have
to
a
the top
little-
of my
we need to have
driveway,
a
my
little
20
hand
gallon.
cart for everybody so that they can roll it better.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there were modifications to the bigger ones to make them easier to move.
Well, so it's
Possibly.
the same size as your yard debris cart. So,
Okay,
yeah, so imagine your yard debris cart full.
yeah.
I
Sometimes
imagine,
I
because,
can't get it up to the top of my driveway.
So.
yeah, you do have a hill.
I believe in general that the average weight of your household waste is gonna be less than your
Mhm.
yard waste,
Yeah, generally. Okay,
generally.
okay.
Unless you're, throwing an engine block in there or something.
No,
So you shouldn't be
no,
doing
no.
anyway.
No, I'm not good,
Right.
no, that's a really good point. I was just thinking about people, maybe that's why they have two, is just
Yeah.
being able to.
It,
But it makes more sense that they're duplexes or they're I mean, who knows? Anymore, you can have a house and someone can be renting the downstairs or something. I
Yeah.
mean, there are different reasons, and I think the 95 does make more sense.
yeah, unless it's two separate or more than two separate households, one can figure out the garbage bill. I mean, if they have a single one, they can either split it or divide it by whatever percentage the one that maybe uses it more, so they can determine that. Because my guess is they're getting a single bill.
I would certainly think so.
Yeah,
And it
so-
would make more sense for them to consolidate on.
I think that what would be
Situations like
nice is
that.
if that is a cost savings, that they have the opportunity to make that choice.
Right,
Right.
and that's what we've talked before about, providing choices and options
Yes.
to the customers. And I think to me, it looks, when I'm looking at this, and I'll let you decide, but I don't see any particular patterns in terms of a whole lot more in this area.
North side of town,
that
or
area.
yes, yeah.
I'm actually happy to send the link to that live map.
The map, that would be great.
to-
I'd love to play with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And-
If I could,
please.
the East Salem, there's a lot of unincorporated Salem, so it may look like there's a big gray
Yes.
spot with nothing, but that's Marion County. And we
Got
have
it.
95 gallons there.
Yep,
So that'd be the only thing that kind of looks
That looks a little open,
different, but
yeah.
there are 95 gallons in that area.
yes.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so like
Okay.
where it says Hayesville and Four Corners, those are the unincorporated Marion
Okay.
County, so not City of Salem.
So, does the map show those that, have 20-gallon or go twice a week or twice a month versus every?
I don't have that on here.
Okay.
This is only, the points on this map are only customers that have more than one garbage cart.
Oh, okay.
So every single one of those points, all 871 of them have more than one garbage cart.
Well, I think again, giving them an option to increase their cart size so that it can reduce their costs. And then also for those that are utilizing the recycling more and recognize that they could reduce their 35-gallon down to 20,
Mhm.
it gives them the option. So I think that having options is certainly what we want to offer.
Mhm. I agree.
So if that's something, I guess it would be I don't need a motion, but a general head nod by the members. Based on this information, I'd like to move forward with proposing and calculating and coming up with a recommendation for what that rate would be. And so just to provide some context on the bottom table, shows the current 2025 rates for 20, 35, 65, and 95 gallon so Salem, Marion, obviously Salem, Marion and Salem Polk, we don't have a 95 gallon, but the two closest areas, so that unincorporated Marion County, the 95 gallon is 48.65. And in the city of Kaiser, they actually just added 95 gallon this year, in January of this year, rate of $53.56. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. In the UGB Marion, so the unincorporated portion of Marion, they do have a lower franchise fee, so that accounts for some of the lower
The lower rate.
rate there. And then you also have a different mix of some of the haulers there, as compared to the rest of the city, rest of Salem, which
Well, if they're paying 49, if they've got the 35 and the 65 and they're paying $38 plus another $50, they could be, even if the rate is more like 59 or something for a 95, they're saving quite a bit of money.
So keep in mind, the rates that you see here are for full service. So
Okay,
if you have a 65 gallon and you add another 35 gallon, the cost for the additional 35 gallon cart is less than what you see there for
I see.
35 gallon
Okay.
service. It's just adding one more cart,
all
not
right.
a full.
It's not, so they have a reduction by having that second one, but they could get an even deeper reduction by having a 95.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that would be helpful to be able to just explain it.
Yes,
Yeah, and I'll bring that information. When we have
Okay,
I'm working on kind of what that proposed cost should be, because we're going to get as close as we can to that cost of service. That's the policy we've
yes,
adopted.
right.
But there's also that element of how do we incentivize
Yes.
and how to make it make sense within the rest of the rate structure. So there's that. So I'm working with our consultant on what makes the most sense there, and
Sense, okay.
we'll bring back some recommendations.
So Counselor Gwynn, we didn't get any voice or head nod. I just want to confirm you're okay with that as well. All right, we got a head nod.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm okay with it as well. Any idea what the UGB, what bulk is? Rates?
So Polk, outside of the city of Salem, I looked at those rates and they do have 95 gallon. That rate though does not include your yard debris cart. And so it is
So
significantly
it's
less.
not apples to apples.
It's not a apples to apples comparison. Everything that you see here all have the garbage, the recycling, your yard debris, and your small recycling bin, the small recycling cart. So it has all of those,
everything.
but in Polk County, outside of the city,
Mhm.
I don't believe has the small miscellaneous like glass recycling, doesn't have the yard debris cart. It's just commingled recycling and trash.
Interesting.
I think a
why
lot of
they
people
don't.
burn their yard waste,
Or compost.
compost, on their yard.
And same thing, when you get into rural Marion County, most of them don't have the yard debris cart either,
Okay, even though they could if they wanted,
It's
right?
not offered.
not offered.
Oh, it's not offered at all.
Right.
Okay.
So they either haul it, compost it, or burn it. I know, I have friends that are just outside and they burn it. I'm like, oh.
Not right now.
No, but other times of the year.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense then.
Did I get that generally correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, all right. Always check my
Your
solar
sources,
friend that I
yeah.
got.
Flies in
Yes.
Okay, so we'll, next time, you see me, we'll bring back some, proposals on that.
Okay.
The last thing is I just wanted to. Come on,
Talk about the dates, the months.
there we go. A slightly adjusted, timeline. You asked about an alternate meeting. Looking at the calendar, I think without adjusting the, notification period for the haulers, we could sneak in, so if we do our October 16th solid waste committee meeting, that'll give us two more. We could turn it around and have this ready if we have a recommendation from this committee on the 16th of October and take that to city council on October 27th. Now, the unknown there is if city council wants to then hold more than one meeting to discuss this, that would throw a wrench in the overall schedule. But all that would mean is instead of having 2 months to provide notification to customers,
We have one.
there would be 1 month, and that would require a special mailing by our haulers.
Okay.
Which they can do, but it costs them a little bit more, but it's possible.
But one thing that I think helps the timing is right now, the proposed rate increase is 0, right,
For Marion County.
for Marion County.
It does help. You're absolutely right. We're probably more likely to be able to make our decision in this timeframe. So I think the challenge will be West Salem learning about it. And we'll try to provide you as much support as we can. So I think that this is a good timeline, because it gives us an option, or we have a month, with a special, mailing. But, with what you've provided us today, it feels like we'll be able to, I think I was not feeling confident if there was gonna be some spikes. So I think this gives me a little bit. Yes, Counselor Gwynn.
Sorry, my only question is, with the impending Chariots tax increase, will that change the outlook for, because the haulers are gonna have to pay that too, right? So is that going to change going forward? Are they going to say, oh, wait a minute, we didn't take into account this almost 1% tax that we're gonna have to pay for all of our employees? I'm
I
just
think-
curious.
I think the one challenge is technically Chariots hasn't actually produced or settled on what that looks like yet, so there's a lot of uncertainty there, but yes, I think you're right, I think it would impact, the rates, just like it would impact our payroll also,
0.7%,
maybe.
maybe. So good question.
Mhm.
And then, but we would still have a month leeway. So I think that this timeline is still appropriate.
Oh, I was not questioning the timeline. I just wanted to throw that, like Counselor Brown always does. I just want to throw that out into the ether and make sure that we're all considering that.
Well, I appreciate you channeling Counselor Brown. And we'll make sure he knows.
Okay.
But thank you for pointing that out. I think, again, there's still uncertainties, and we'll find out.
What I can do is, admittedly, I haven't researched a lot of about the Chariots tax and how it might apply to this, but I can try to come back next time with the possible impact.
I think that would be maybe good to have, because that is supposed to take place in January, right? Starts in January if it gets there.
Supposedly, yes, I haven't seen the final proposal, I know they had a work session earlier this month about it, I'm not certain, I know it's administered by the DOR, so it'll be a lot like the state transit tax. Fairly automatic, just like if you're up in TriMet or down in Lane Transit.
Right, that's what I had read as well. Okay,
I know this is an odd question. What do businesses do downtown for solid waste?
the haulers come through.
Okay, and everybody has their own
Dumpsters
Can.
and cans.
dumpsters and.
Yeah, if you ever
cans
go
and
into the alleys, there's all kind of dumpsters back there.
stuff? Okay,
And
well,
that's-
I do, I just wasn't sure how that worked out. Okay.
So each of them has their
Right.
own, and the residents that are on the second floors, they have their own. So,
Okay.
and so everyone is billed individually, or the businesses are billed individually.
Okay, thank you.
So
I was able to answer that.
the last thing since, let's see, going to the last item on here, 6 other, we already talked about the whole county and rehab, but A on here is, I just want you to be aware, RMA litigation. This was news to me about 3 weeks ago. There is a lawsuit against DEQ, and I want to say Circular Action Alliance by a producer organization.
Oh, yes,
So I don't know the outcome.
wasn't it a cumulative group of,
Yeah,
of,
if you're interested, I can send you some links to articles, but if you go to Google and just type in RMA litigation, you'll get half a dozen or so different.
it's a group, it's a
Right.
group of,
And so I just want you to let you know that I'm aware of it, There's no comment by DEQ. It's like, we're in the middle of the litigation, so we're not commenting kind of thing. But so I am aware and trying to learn what I can, if there's going to be any impact. At this point, there's no, I think that the request was that there be some type of injunction saying, hey, stop all the RMA stuff until we get this sorted out. I don't think that's been granted. Sorry, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't speak legalese. I'm not gonna,
No, it's
So,
okay, that makes sense,
that's
that
the-
makes sense.
so I don't think it doesn't sound to me like it's gonna get any legs. I don't think there's any momentum on it at this point. But I could be, anyway, so I'll stay on top of it and
Okay.
let you know if there's any changes or if that's gonna impact what we're doing.
Okay.
My guess is
Helpful.
they're probably just delaying what they have to pay.
Yeah, my sense is, they had an opportunity to provide comment and they didn't at the time, and now they are. But so, seems a little late in the process.
Mhm.
So I don't know,
Okay,
but,
thank you. We can look it up if we need to.
and that's all I have for today.
All right, because we already talked about the Polk County rehab.
Yes, yep.
So any questions? All right.
Nope, I am good.
Lots of information as always.
It always is. Do you have any follow-up questions or any questions?
No, more to come, right?
More to come.
More to come, a lot
Anything
more.
from our back panel, that back there?
So I would anticipate next meeting, which is Thursday, September 18th. My wife's birthday, by the way.
Oh.
Thursday, September 18th, here in this room, same time, same place. I will plan on having an action item.
Yay, we get to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel
There
free
seems
to
to be
reach
a
out.
hand raised in the middle of our,
Well,
thing.
that's the mouse.
oh, okay.
Not me.
Just waving.
All right, so that means that we get to conclude a few minutes early. Unless anybody has any last comments or thoughts, questions? All right, I shall adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's the yellow.